Welcome back to our continuing series on educating homeowners so that you can continue your battle to fight against mortgage companies and foreclosures. I'm Tom Cox, your host and an attorney with the Florida-based law firm of Cox & Sanchez. I have over 27 years of experience in dealing with all issues related to real estate matters, including foreclosures and real estate sales. Here in Florida, we're at ground zero in this mortgage foreclosure crisis and deal with these issues on a daily basis. Now, first and foremost, in our planning and strategy, my partner and I typically consult with our client to determine what are their long-term goals and plans and desires with regard to the property. Therefore, you need to make a decision as to whether or not you wish to retain ownership of the property, wish to merely stay in the property for as long as you can so that you can save a cash stash to relocate. You may decide that you only want to stay in the property if you can get the mortgage payment down and at a reasonable level, or you may simply want to relocate and discharge any potential debts or deficiencies in bankruptcy. Therefore, your first step is to decide what is in your family's best interest and which option or multiple options is best for you. Before we discuss the options, a word about how mortgage loss mitigations departments work. You know, if you think that mortgage companies have any coordination of services between the various divisions, you know, you're absolutely wrong. In my experience, I have found that one division does not communicate with any other division. With the advent of mergers and acquisitions and FDIC takeovers, transfer of servicing between the various companies, you know, very rarely does one department know what's going on with any other division. Each mortgage company may structure their various loss mitigations department differently. In general, they will typically have 5 different divisions in their loss mitigation department. These 5 different departments and consequently your options typically consist of the following. You'll have a short sale. A short sale is simply where the lender or the mortgage company is shorted on the mortgage. They agree to sell the property for less than the total amount that's owed on the mortgage. The second option is a mortgage modification. That is where the lender agrees to modify the terms and conditions of your mortgage. Simply reduce the interest payment, extend the amortization of time period, and certainly make it more palatable for you to be able to afford and live in the property. Your third option is a deed in lieu of foreclosure. A deed in lieu of foreclosure is a device whereby the homeowner of the property deeds or transfers not only the possession but the ownership interest back to the mortgage company in lieu of forgiveness of a debt. Your fourth option is a foreclosure defense. Foreclosure defense is where you believe you have a viable defense of some nature against the mortgage company for taking your property, and you defend the cause of action over time. And finally, we utilize bankruptcy. You know, bankruptcy is a legal process where you can deal with your debts and obligations. Most folks are familiar with bankruptcy, but there are typically 2 types, a Chapter 7 and a 13. You can discharge your debts or obligations and not have to pay them back in a Chapter 7. In a Chapter 13, that is what is typically used to retain your property. It allows you to restructure your secured and unsecured debts up to a 5-year time period. So that's also a very attractive option because you can force the mortgage company to accept repayment terms. The bankruptcy court can force them, whether or not even the lender does not want to accept it. So those are your 5 options that you typically have in dealing with loss mitigations department and trying to save your property. They are short sales, mortgage modification, deed in lieu of foreclosure, foreclosure defense, and bankruptcy. Most folks, to maximize their utilization of their cash and options for their family, utilize a combination of usually 2 of those 5 options. So check back in with us in the future as we continue our series to provide you information, tips, and tricks on how to deal with mortgage issues here in the state of Florida and across the United States. Thanks.